So this year I somehow became the metal raised garden bed reviewer. This is actually the third of 4 different brands that I'm reviewing this year, and I must say it came in the smallest box out of the 4, which I do appreciate, saving on the packing materials. This one is actually from Kesfitt, which I hadn't actually heard about before they approached me to do this review. And I do want to let you guys know up front that they did send this to me for free to review, but as with all of these different raised beds, I am actually not joining any of their affiliate programs. So what I tell you here today won't make me any money. I just really want to take the opportunity that all these companies are giving me to have all of these raised beds side by side in the same garden to help you guys make informed decisions. If you appreciate this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and also consider supporting me via Patreon. That is linked down below. Something that I both like and dislike about most of these raised beds is that they do come with a plastic film coating on them to protect the paint. And while I do appreciate that they are going through the extra effort of protecting the paint from scratches, I really hate having to pull it all off. It takes so long. And I also don't like the little pile of single-use plastic waste that I have at the end. So I'm just really split on it. Putting together this raised bed was pretty easy. I would say it took me something like 45 minutes. They provided all the tools, and it went together pretty darn quick. Something interesting about this raised bed is it actually has 4 panels to turn the corner rather than 2, and I think making those shorter does also help it fit into that smaller box. This raised bed also comes with a little rubber lining to put over the top, which not all of the ones that I'm reviewing this year actually do. This brand also does use cap bolts or covered bolts like you see here. I think these are really great for preventing you from scratching yourself as you're working in the garden bed, and I think they might minimally contribute to reducing rust over time, but I'm not super sure about that. Figuring out where to put this with all the other raised beds that I've gotten in and am reviewing took a little effort. I had my friend Casey come over and help me out, make some decisions, and eventually we came up with a pretty good layout for all of these new ones that I've got. When I went to fill this raised bed, since it is not as tall as some of the other raised beds, I went about it a little differently. Usually I would put a bunch of logs in the bottom and then sticks and smaller stuff on top, but I started here with grass clippings and a free wood mulch that I got from the city. I kind of mixed those together for a greens and browns mix on the bottom that would also be pretty thick. And then on top of that, I did a bag of compost and a couple of bags of topsoil. While I wish I made enough compost to be able to use homemade compost for this, I just could not produce nearly enough for my entire garden and all these new raised beds this year. But the bagged stuff that I got is definitely some of the cheapest that you can find at the store, and I think that'll work just fine for this. So this approach works really well, not just from a cost perspective, but also from a plant health perspective. Even though I'm using cheap stuff on the top, all those wood chips and grass clippings on the bottom are going to compost together relatively quickly, within a few months, and they're going to be pretty good soil under there for the plants that are going in this bed. Not to mention, in the meantime, some of the bigger wood chips are going to do a good job retaining water in that raised bed. So I probably won't have to water this at all besides letting the rain water it. Although, of course, there are notable exceptions like planting little baby seeds and very tender seedlings. Those might need just a little extra water. But overall, this is going to be a very hands-off raised bed because I'm planting potatoes in it. Top layer of mulch is just a box of leaves that I collected. And these are going to be great just for keeping moisture in, keeping the sun off the soil, and they also add a little bit of their own microbiome to the soil. If you want to hear me directly compare all the features of all the raised beds I've got this year, that video will be linked below once it becomes available, which should be very soon. And if you'd like to see other videos that I've made about raised beds that I have already, I will also link those below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, happy gardening!